Hey there, and welcome back to English Corner Podcast. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Richard. We're so glad you're here. I mean, if you're learning English and you sometimes just feel like stuck or maybe frustrated, or like your brain just won't cooperate with you, this episode is definitely for you.
Today we're actually talking about something that, no one really prepares you for when you first start learning English, which is why do we keep forgetting the words we learn? It's like so frustrating sometimes.
Yeah, you learn a word one day and then the next day, poof, right? It's just gone. But you know what? You're not alone, truly. And it's actually not your fault. The good news is there are like super simple ways to fix it.
That's right. So, just get comfortable, maybe grab your tea or coffee, take a nice deep breath, and let's just explore how to really make English vocabulary stick, for good.
So let's start with a quick reality check, okay? Because I think this is really important. Your brain is not broken.
Nope. No, in fact, your brain is actually doing exactly what it's supposed to do. Its job, it's really to filter information, not to just store every single word it hears. It would just be too much.
Yeah, I mean, think about it. When you learn a word just once and then you never ever use it again, your brain kind of assumes oh, okay, this isn't important. So it just, it deletes it. It's like spring cleaning for your brain, really.
But don't worry, honestly, this is completely normal. Forgetting is a crucial part of the learning process, actually. And the more often, you can kind of reconnect with a word, the stronger that memory actually becomes. So, yeah, it's all part of it.
So, moving on to our next big tip, let's talk about one of the biggest mistakes I think learners often make. And that is trying to memorize words, just in isolation, like one word at a time, completely by itself.
Yeah, exactly. Learning bright means shiny, right? Like the bright sun. But did you know bright can also mean smart? Oh, she's a very bright student. Or even colorful. I love bright colors. It's got so many meanings.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Without a full sentence or, a bit of a story, your brain actually has no clue which version to remember. It's almost like trying to remember somebody's name, but you're not remembering their face. You just have this name floating around.
It's really hard. So that's why we always recommend this. Don't just learn the word itself. Learn the sentence. Learn it in context.
Absolutely. So, for example, instead of just writing down generous equals kind in your notebook, and that's fine, but try writing a full sentence. So, for instance, he's generous with his time. That gives it so much more meaning.
Yeah, and honestly, make your own sentences too. Even really silly ones help because it helps you connect to it. So, my cat is generous with her fur. It's everywhere. If it makes you smile, you're actually probably going to remember it longer. It's true.
So moving on from context, another tip that might feel a little bit old school, I guess, but actually really works is to write things down by hand. Yes, really.
Yeah, I know. Everyone's like, what? My phone is right here. But research actually shows that when you write by hand, it activates your memory much more deeply than just typing. It's pretty wild.
It really is.
Yeah, when you're writing, your brain is actually connecting movement, the active writing, the sound, the shape of the letters. It creates something called muscle memory. It's almost like learning to play an instrument. Your fingers just know what to do after a while.
Yeah, absolutely. So, grab a small notebook just for English. And when you hear a new word, don't just write the word. Write it down in a sentence. So, for example, she felt frustrated when her phone froze again. Something like that.
Oh, I love that. And also add color. I do this all the time. Use red for verbs, blue for adjectives. Make it yours. Your brain just loves patterns and it loves those visual cues. It helps so much.
So speaking of getting those words to really stick, here's another quick tip that honestly might feel a little bit old school, I guess, but actually really works, is to read out loud.
Oh, absolutely. This is one of my favorites. When you speak a word, you're not just seeing it on the page or the screen, right? You're actually saying it, and then you're hearing it. So that's like triple reinforcement all at once.
Yeah, it's pretty powerful. So, try reading your example sentences, even just 3 times, slowly. Just give yourself that moment.
Yeah, let's do one together for the listeners too. Repeat after us. Okay, Richard, would you like to start us off?
All right. The children giggled at the silly joke. Again, the children giggled at the silly joke. One more time. The children giggled at the silly joke.
See, it might feel a little bit, why am I doing this? But with that repetition and that triple reinforcement, it really does start to just feel natural. It becomes part of you.
Another tip that really helps words stick is immersion. And no, you don't actually need to, pack your bags and move to London or New York to do this.
Yeah, that's such a good point. And even consuming English media, like watching YouTube in English or, hey, even this podcast, that counts too. The key is frequency. When you see a word like charge again and again on your phone or on TV or in conversation, your brain just starts to believe that it's important. Okay, so speaking of fun, let's talk about memory tricks. Now, the word mnemonics might sound a little bit intimidating, like a big, fancy word, but it just means making these fun, memorable associations.
Yeah, exactly. And we have a classic one for you here. So think about the words desert and dessert, right? Desert has one S because generally you only want one desert. But dessert, that has 2 S's because you always want seconds.
Right? And you can even turn vocabulary into like a game. Use flashcards, right? There's so many good word apps out there now. Or even just make a quick 2-minute quiz with a friend. Like, hey, let's test each other on the words we learned this week. It really does help. And speaking of making things engaging and less intimidating, let's be real for a second. Speaking is scary for a lot of people, like really scary. But it honestly doesn't have to be. We always say, just start by talking to yourself.
Yeah, that's it. It sounds a little bit silly, but it works. Like, just say what you're doing. So if you're in the kitchen, just say, I'm making tea, or, oh, the water is hot.
Yeah. Or like, I need to find my keys. No pressure, right? Nobody's there to like correct your grammar or to judge your pronunciation. It's just you. You're just speaking.
That's it. Just speak.
And this actually trains your brain to start using words in real time. And you'll start to find those gaps like, oh, I don't know how to say that word, or, what's the verb for this action? And that's great because then you can look them up, write them down, and you're growing every single day.
So we've got one last kind of bonus tip for you that we really, really want to emphasize. And this one is try to stop relying so heavily on translation apps.
Oh, this is a big one for a lot of people, Richard, because they feel so helpful in those emergency situations, right? But yeah, they really do slow down your fluency, don't they?
They really do. Like, they're great in a pinch if you're really stuck. But you know what? Instead, we really recommend trying to use an English dictionary, like the Cambridge Learner's Dictionary, for example.
Yeah, because it gives you clear definitions in English. And also, it gives you examples. So, for instance, instead of just translating frustrated into your own language, you'd read something like frustrated, feeling upset because something is not working.
Exactly. And that is how you start to train your brain to think in English without that intermediary translation step. It's really powerful.
So, let's just do a quick little recap for everyone. If you're finding yourself,
constantly forgetting English words, just remember these key things that we talked about today. Always try to learn words in context. Don't just isolate them. Write them down by hand if you can, and make sure you speak them out loud, even if it feels a bit silly at first. Create that immersion around yourself, even in small ways. Use those fun memory tricks, those mnemonics and games, and speak, even if you're just speaking to yourself, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So we'd love to know which of these tips are you going to try this week? Or maybe, which ones do you already use that really work for you? Let us know in the comments. We'd really love to hear your story.
Yeah, please do. And if you enjoyed this episode, please share it with a friend or even just leave us a quick review wherever you listen to podcasts. Every little step really does help us grow this amazing English learning community.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for listening, everyone. Keep going because honestly, you're learning more than you probably think you are. And remember, you've totally got this.
You do.
See you next time. Bye.